defense cooperation agreement and a contract to purchase Mistral warships. The signing ceremony was attended by Prime Minister Sharif Ismail, who will afterwards hold a meeting with his French counterpart. The senior officials are expected to discuss boosting economic relations and political issues of mutual concern. Ismail and the Ministers of Trade and Industry will also meet with a group of French businessmen who are rivals. Spokesman for the Higher Election Commission, Councillor Omar Marwan, held a press conference on the latest updates of the upcoming parliamentary elections slated to start on the 17th of October. Marwan reiterated that the electoral body would provide all the logistics for holding free and fair elections, adding they would also assign a coordinator to organize queues and guide voters. He added that some private television channels have committed violations to the elections, noting that measures would be taken to prevent further recurrence. In more local news, the Cairo criminal has adjourned to October the 25th the trial of ousted President Mohamed Morsi and 10 leading members of the Terrorist Brotherhood organization on charges of espionage. The trial was postponed to listen to the testimony of a national security officer who is currently on a work-related mission and could not attend the day's session. The defendants are accused of leaking confidential documents related to the armed forces and state security to the Gulf state of Qatar. In another case, the same court adjourned to next Saturday the trial of Ali al-Mubarak and 7 business tycoons who are being charged of violations related to a deal to sell the National Bank of Egypt. Israeli security forces shot dead 2 Palestinians in East Jerusalem, one of whom had stabbed 2 Israelis in a further wave of violence that has raised concerns about a new Palestinian uprising. Earlier, Israeli soldiers shot dead 7 Palestinians in protest near the Gaza border, and a knife-wielding Israeli wounded 4 Arabs in the southern Israeli town of Dimona. The story.
2 Palestinians were shot dead by the Israeli security forces in occupied East Jerusalem in fierce clashes at the Palestinian Shuaifat refugee camp. The Israeli police said that 2 ultra-Orthodox Jewish men were wounded in the attack by a 16-year-old Palestinian near Jerusalem's Old City. The hospital officials later confirmed the 25-year-old had died, and Hamas said in a statement that he was one of its members. Tensions have surged in 11 in which 4 Israelis and 16 Palestinians, including several assailants shot by police, have been killed in occupied East Jerusalem. Earlier, the Israeli soldiers shot dead 7 Palestinians in protest near the Gaza border, and a knife-wielding Israeli wounded 4 Arabs in southern Israeli town of Dimona. And in a northern town, an Israeli Arab woman was shot and wounded by the Israeli police. The Palestinians have been angered by at Al-Aqsa Mosque in the occupied Jerusalem and fear that Israel wants to change the status quo at the holy site. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said repeatedly he will not allow any change to the arrangements under which Jews are allowed to visit the site, but non-Muslim prayer is banned. His assurances have done little to quell alarm among the Muslims across the region. Netanyahu and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas had called for calm, and Palestinian police continue to coordinate with the Israeli security forces to try to restore order, but there are few signs of violence dying down.
Meanwhile, Egypt has condemned the excessive use of force by Israeli occupation troops against unarmed Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs demanded that Israel provide the necessary security to Palestinian citizens and immediately halt the ongoing aggression in order to contain the violence that extended to the enclave after days of raging in the West Bank. Meanwhile, Al-Azhar institution denounced Israel's aggression against Palestinians and urged the international community to take up its responsibilities towards the innocent Palestinian civilians. As the Daesh terrorist group advanced to the outskirts of Syria's second city of Aleppo, The Pentagon announced that Washington will restart talks with Russia over avoiding accident in Syrian airspace. The two nations are conducting separate bombing campaigns, with Moscow saying that its raids had killed hundreds of jihadists in just 24 hours.
Syrian rebels battled the Daesh terrorist group in northern Aleppo province a day after the terrorists advanced to the outskirts of the city of the same name. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said